Okay, we are on the 12-3 end of lesson review, the work together portion. And the first part here is that we're going to complete a payroll register. Make sure that you have your calculator handy, as you're going to need it to calculate some different things. But here it says a payroll register for Judy's Fashions is provided. Complete the payroll register for the semi-monthly pay period ended July 15th. Use the federal income tax withholding tables in lesson 12.2 of your textbook, or I did post them in the 12.2 resources. Use tax rates of 6.2% for Social Security tax and 1.45% for Medicare tax. Round dollar amounts to the nearest cent. Neither employee has reached the tax base. Withhold $60 for health insurance and $15 for a Roth IRA for each employee. The voluntary deductions are not eligible to be deducted from total earnings to calculate payroll taxes. Okay, so first step here is we need our semi-monthly period ending July 15th. And our date of payment is going to be the same, July 15th. Okay, so we see here that Edward Johnson is married with 2 allowances. So from the charts that you have before, we'll look up for a married person with 2 allowances, and the amount here, I'm looking on a different screen, but the amount here from 1432 is at least 1420 and less than 1440. 2 allowances gives me $61 for federal income tax. Okay, Social Security tax I need to calculate. I'm going to take 1432.50 and I'm going to multiply that by 6.2% or 0.062, and I'm going to get 88.82, and it says 815, but again, round to the nearest cent. Okay, Medicare tax 1432.50 times 0.0145 or 1.45%, and I'm going to get 20.77. Health insurance, I know that I'm just going to take out 60. Retirement, 15, and now I need to total, so I'm going to add all my deductions together here. And I'm going to get 245.59. And then I need to calculate my net pay. So I'm going to take that 1432.50 and I'm going to subtract the deductions, which were 245.59, to get a net pay of $1,186.91. Okay, now I'm going to move to Janice, and it shows here that she's single with 1 allowance. So I'm going to find the single chart. Okay, and she has at least 960, but less than 980. So 1 allowance in the single is going to give me $76. Okay, Social Security tax, I'm going to take her total earnings, 971.75 times 0.065, or I'm sorry, 0.062, and get 60.25. Now it says 0.2485, and again, rounding to the nearest cent, so 60.25. Medicare tax, 971.75 times 0.0145, 1409 for Medicare tax. Health insurance is again 60. And retirement plan, 15. So now I need to add my deductions, 76. And I'll get 225.34. So then I'll need to calculate my net pay. So take my total earnings of 971.75 and subtract the total deductions of 225.34, and I will get a net pay of 746.41. Okay, then I'm going to go down and hit grade step 1. Looks like we did all right. Move on to the next step. Now I'm just totaling the columns. Okay, so I'm going to add my regular earnings together. I'm going to add my overtime. And I'm going to add the total. Okay, now I added this way, and I'm just going to double check by adding my regular plus my overtime to make sure that that added correctly. Okay, I got the same number. Okay, now I'm going to start adding my deductions. And I'll add the totals. Okay, and I'm going to double check again just by adding all the total deductions here and make sure that I get the same number. And I got 470.93 again. Okay, and then I need to add up the net pay. Okay, and again, I'm going to double check by taking my total earnings from here and subtracting my total deductions from here. And I get the same number again. So now we can grade step 2. Okay, and move on to next step. And the last thing is the earnings record. Okay, so now this is where we're going to transfer everything to just the individual. So down here it says, enter the July 15th payroll information on Mr. Johnson's quarterly earnings record from the payroll register. Mr. Johnson is employee number 2. Rate of pay is $15 per hour. Social Security number, it's already put in for us. And the position is sales manager. Accumulated earnings at the end of the second quarter are 17,218. So earnings record for quarter ended. Now this is not this July 15th date. Okay, we have to think in our quarterly numbers, and this is going to, if you think about it, you have 3 months per quarter. So our first quarter would have been January, February, March. So that would have ended on March 31st. Okay, and then we have April, May, and June. So ended on June 30th. And then we have July, August, and September. So this is going to end on September. Okay, and how many days are in September? 30. Okay, so it will end on September 30th. Now we know the marital status. We can just look up here for Mr. Johnson is that he's married. So I'm going to put an M. And he has 2 withholdings. Rate of pay was 15. And position is sales manager. Okay, now here it tells us it ended on July 15th. So now we're just going to transfer, let's put in the accumulated earnings here quick. So 17,218. Okay, we will transfer the amounts down. So regular earnings are 1320. I'm going to move it up just so we can see that a little bit better. Overtime is 112.50. Total 1432.50. Federal income tax 61. Social Security 88.82. Medicare, health insurance, and retirement. And then I'm going to have my total and my net pay. So again, just transferring the numbers down because now it's just the earnings record for this specific individual. And remember now to calculate my accumulated earnings. I'm going to take what was left from before. So I have 17,218. And I'm going to add on my total earnings from over here. So 1432.50 added on. And so I'm going to have an accumulated earnings of 18,650 and 50 cents. Okay, we will grade final step. And everything's okay, so then you can save and continue on to the on your own problem.